All right, guys, welcome back. So I was getting ready to start working on this again. Last time I showed you the ribbed material I was going to use to wrap for this Newman motor, and I'm using this XTC 3D brush on for 3D printed parts. And what I noticed was it sticks really well to the 3D printed part, but not to this. But then I noticed that even though it doesn't stick, it's creating the same pattern that I kind of wanted, that ribbed pattern. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to coat this thing completely, wrap this around, let it set up. If it doesn't stick, it's no big deal. I can take it off and then still use, if you guys can see it, and it's stuck there really well. And it has the printed, it has the pattern on there, which is kind of weird. I mean, not weird, it was just kind of great. So even if it doesn't stick, I still think I want to use this. And so when I get to the end, maybe I'll just use some regular cement or some regular glue or something to keep it secured. But I'm gonna mix up a larger batch, wrap the whole thing, see what happens. All right, guys, so while I'm waiting for these to dry, I don't even know if you can see these. I'll have to check the video because of the sun. While I'm waiting for those to dry, let's go back inside here. I'm going to tackle this guy again, my solenoid motor that me and my friend down under built. He designed it. Then over the, I don't know, year-long process, we tweaked the design. It went from having gears to having rollers to having, it was all kinds of interesting and wild, crazy. What I want to do is I want to replace these 3 coils with better coils, bigger coils, fatter coils. But I'm going to give it a quick spin. And I also remember that in trying to get all 3 of these to work collectively together, it didn't. I could get 2 of them to work together, running the 2 circuits in parallel from the power. I tried to run 3 of these off of 3 separate circuits in parallel, the way Sky Collection instructed me to, and again it worked, but it worked better with only just 2. So I have to look into that, and I got some great suggestions on what was probably the issue, yada yada yada. G-Law gave me some, or that's back when he was called G-Law. Now he's called Magnus Attractus. Anyway, let me fire this puppy up. Sorry, I had to cut away really quick. My wife was having issues with her bike. Anyway, I'm going to connect these 2 up to 2 separate circuits in parallel. Then I'll try connecting them both just to 1 circuit and see how that runs. And then I'll try connecting all 3 to 1 circuit and see how that runs. For those of you who remember, this is one noisy son of a bitch. That's because, but it runs really good with 2 circuits in parallel. Uh-oh, wait a minute. For some reason, it was running good, but there was no output. I got to check the connection. All right, so the connections were fine. I think this is just burnt out or something, because I'm getting 12 volts, or I'm getting voltage to this guy here. But yeah, if you guys remember, this thing runs nice. Of course, it's loud because it's plastic on plastic. I have to tighten the bearings up. There's rollers in there made out of, hold on, let me turn it off. If you guys remember from the build process, there's 3D printed rollers with bearings in them, and I got it pretty tight, but you got to remember that these are made in several pieces. They're stitched together, you know, from screws, but it runs really nice. And gets up to speed after a little while. But what I want to do is I want to replace these coils. That was running at 12 volts, by the way. I want to replace these coils. I've already printed out the coils themselves, which means I got to take this whole thing apart, which is a pain in the ass. You can see there are a lot of screws and bolts. Yeah, it doesn't go together easy. It doesn't come up. It comes apart pretty easy, but the tolerances are really tight on this thing. You know, we did a lot of work, me and my down under friend. Yeah, we did a lot of work on this. And like I said, it took quite a while. Here's one of the templates. As you can see, it's about the same size, because this is a perfect size that fits on here, that won't slide back and forth, and it locks on there. If I make it any bigger, I won't be able to actually get it on there. But what I want to do is I want to roll. Actually, these aren't too bad, these two down here. Maybe I'll just do this top one here. But I want to figure out why. Maybe instead of running, no, I have to run the circuits in parallel. But let me hook up a third circuit and show you what I mean. Stay tuned. Yeah, so there's something wrong with this guy, because it doesn't make any sense. I tried to run it by itself. Oops, something happened. Something came loose. Sorry about that. Something came loose because this guy stopped all of a sudden. Oh, I see what happened. All right, I lost the parallel connection. It happens when you have sloppy connections. There we go. We got nice output. So yeah, I tried running just this coil, and this system will run off of one coil. Not very good, but it will run. But it runs really good when I have two circuits. I'm sorry, the system will run off of one circuit. Thing is too loud to talk over. This system will run off of one circuit not very well. And I don't know if it's because of the coil, because of the size of the wire, because there's a loose connection. I checked everything. I have continuity. So I'm not really sure what's going on with that, which is another reason why I want to take it apart. But as you can see, it runs really good. 12 volts. It is loud, but it runs really well. And my friend calls this the solenoid motor. So let me get it apart, and actually let me wind it. Well, I got to get it apart to make sure. Hold on. I got to get it apart to make sure that the new coils that I'm winding are going to fit on there okay. I don't know when it cut out, so I'll start again. I actually made the new coils with smaller end caps, just because I don't need this much room. But I am going to wind it with a better, or it's going to be they're going to be nicer coils. And hopefully I can discover the issue with this one here. Not really sure what's going on with that bad boy, but let me get going. Yeah, so I've checked everything. I've got continuity, everything's attached, nothing's broken. These are actually going through. This is positive. This is negative on this side. Positive on this side is going to the correct terminal. Yeah, it gets 12 volts coming out here. When it's live, it's, yes, I think it's just a bad coil, or I'm not really sure what the hell. Like I said, if I hook up one of these, it'll work poorly, but it works. Nothing happens when I do this, guy. Watch. It's on. I get nothing. I get no response, yet I'm getting, these guys are not hot. There's nothing wrong with this circuit because I just ran it on this one. I'll show you. Hold tight. It runs with one coil. Like I said, not very good. Let me turn it off because it really doesn't like one circuit with one coil. I wonder, yeah, I'm not really sure. Now, I've not tried to run all three of these in series, the coils, I mean, not the circuit. Let me try that and see what that does. I don't know that's going to do anything. Yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. Let me start taking this puppy apart. Yeah, I was going to try that, but I think everything I've tried says there's something wrong with this. So I'm just going to take it apart, replace it with a new coil, and see what happens. Oh, you know what? I didn't check to see if it's generating any electricity when the circuit is on. Yeah, but I farted around with it too long. Maybe I'll check that before I take it all apart. Or I think I already did, and it wasn't doing anything. Anyway, this is a cool motor, very different from any of the other pulse motors I've made. And again, he's calling this a solenoid motor. This was a joint venture. So this is really the epitome of my channel. This thing is completely 3D printed, except for the little connectors and obviously the metal bolts and the magnets. These parts took a long time to print out because this, and this, they're all separate. Now, I've glued these together to make it easier to take it on and off, but they were printed separate. And obviously you can see they were printed in two different colors for a nice contrast. But when I get this thing apart, I'll show you guys. And if anybody's got any suggestions for making this thing run a little bit smoother, I am all ears. Wow, I had completely forgotten that this thing is actually made up of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This thing is made up of 7 pieces. Excuse me. So here's the inside. As you can see, what I was telling you, here's the 3D printed bearings. And so this wheel, as tight as I can make these so they adjust a little bit, this wheel floats on these rollers. And I've tried a lot of different sizes to get to this point. I mean, a lot of different sizes. If I can find the bin that has all those wheels in them. And this turned out to be the good size. So I've had some suggestions in the past if I could put rubber, like a rubber tire material on this, or maybe even coat it with some sort of synthetic rubber coating. That might help. I might try that. But if anybody's got any suggestions on how to make this puppy run quieter or smoother, let me know. Oh, in order for me to get these coils off, I have to actually take the wheel apart, which I'm not looking forward to because it's, It's a snug, yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. Actually, I forgot, this one's not too bad because this is just made up of 5 or 6 tubes that slide into each other. I remember the first, second, or even third iteration of this had these in 2 halves, which we both figured out eventually that's not going to cut it. Anyway, let me get it apart. And I'm not going to do anything until I post this. If you guys can think of anything that might aid in the smoothness of this, put it in the comments. I read all the comments. Obviously, I don't have like a bazillion people. I would still read it even if I did. Well, I don't know. I shouldn't say that because I don't know. But I do read all the comments, and I usually respond to all of them, as long as they're all positive, which they are. And if the suggestion is good, I'll definitely take it. Even if it's not good, I'll consider it. All right. So really, thanks, guys. Quick, ciao. I think one of the things I am gonna do is once I get this back together, I'm going to file this nice and smooth, and maybe even put some sort of a, I don't know, a Bondo on it or something, and sand it. It's really hard though, because I have to put the coils on and then put this together. And to work on this when the coils are on, there's a little bit iffy. Like I can see right here, I'm missing a screw, but I also have some, I don't know, looks like glue. But maybe if I wrap the coils, put them all on one side, work on each section, or print out a new ring. Oh yeah, when I was building this, these had to get so precise. We had them at a certain size, but in order to adjust it to fit well in here, just to get it to spin freely and clear so that it would go through these tubes without hitting the wall, this took a lot of adjustment. So before I take it apart, I'm going to mark each one of these to make sure it goes back the same way. All right, ciao. I just realized I don't have to take the whole thing apart. I just need to take a section out. That way I can get the coils off. So I've taken a screw out of here and a screw out of here, and so that should be good. I should be able to at least take take the screw out of this. Sorry, have to take the screw out of this one here. Yeah, I don't have to take the whole thing apart. Dang, so stupid. Oh yeah, right. One more thing that I forgot, that I better not forget, that is not obvious when you look at this. Inside this ring is hollow, and there are barrel magnets going all the way around that are, I think they're about 10 millimeters apart. I think I made spacers or something like that. I don't remember. But yeah, I got to be really careful when I take this apart because, you know, stuff sticks to it. And they're pretty powerful magnets, so I've got to be a little bit on the careful side. All right, it's starting to come back to me. So I remember I put this felt on there so that the magnets wouldn't make a ton of noise. And the magnets that are in there are disc magnets, not barrel magnets. I can't get it out one hand. And then there's wood in between. Dagnabbit. These are kind of powerful. There's wood in between. So they're all facing in one direction. And I put, looks like I put a couple of pieces of, looks like I put a couple of pieces of wood in between. And what I may do is I may reorder better magnets than this. Take it all apart and get some N52 barrel magnets that are about this size. All right. Oh shit. Where did that go? Oh, one on the side there. Okay. Yeah. So I think what I did was, did I put two? Why did I put? I don't remember if All right, I'm gonna have to figure this out. I messed it up. I didn't want all that to come out because I don't remember if I put. Why would I? Oh, maybe I. No, that doesn't make any sense. Let me take it apart. So if I Ciao. Remember correctly, now I made these spacers the same size. Oops, the same size as that, so that um, yeah, so that the magnets are the same all the way around. But I can definitely order some better magnets than having these two. I don't know why I did it like this. Probably so that I have more flexibility with the amount I'm going to put in there. But if I remember correctly, I think there's 25 or 24. So all I would really need is 12 that are this size. Yeah, let me check it out. And I remember I cut these with a little bit of a diagonal to fit the curve of the tube. All right, let me play around with this and see what happens. So I think I glued this to this, which is so stupid. Not a big deal. I can print out a new one of these. I have all the files. The only problem is that we did so many revisions. I mean, it was every week there was a new revision. This guy is incredible when it comes to his CAD skills. And every week he would say, "Sorry, Mike, I figured something out," or "We figured something out," and he'd make a revision and send it to me. Sometimes he would just make one and send it to me after I've did a lot of stuff, but that's okay. That's all part of the process. But I broke my own rule about crazy gluing stuff together like that. Not a big deal. These things take almost no time to print anyway. And now with my fast printing profile, I can get it done even quicker. This is one of the good coils. Not a very powerful coil. That's why I want to build new ones. And so where is that? Oh, here it is. And so this guy, yeah, that fits perfect on there. This is just a prototype because it has too big of a lip on it. I've got the other ones in my office. Yeah, all right. Again, if you guys think of anything that can be of any benefit or that can help me with the sound or even with the design. I mean, again, this was a collaborative thing between me and my buddy down under. Yeah. If you guys can think of anything, don't be afraid to leave it in the comments. All right. I keep saying ciao, goodbye, and I keep refilming. So I thought mistakenly that I made those spacers the same size as this, which I did, but it's not so that it can be every other one. It's two of these magnet, so it's two of those spacers, as I found out with this guy here. So there's a magnet, two wooden spacers, and a magnet. And I think I did that because I tried it with one and I wasn't getting any results. So yeah, so I think there's 24 magnets, which means if I reorder 12 of that size, it should work. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so it's magnet, two spacers, magnet, and then spacer, another wooden spacer, two magnets. So this acts as one of the spacers. Dagnabbit. All right. Let me take a look and see what K&J may. I think it's K&J, K&G, something like that. K&J. See what they have. See what the cost is. I may just reuse these barrel magnets. Although I did break one, but I think I have some more somewhere. All right. This time, I'm going to say goodbye. Well, until the next time I record. Ciao.